They told me it was depression, but that word feels too neat, too clinical, too small for what it really was. Depression sounds like silence, but mine was loud. It rattled the dishes, hummed through the walls, sat at the foot of my bed like an unwanted guest who never leaves. I am 74 years old, and I've spent most of my life pretending to be fine, smiling at neighbors, keeping a clean house, making perfect beds and perfect dinners. I fooled everyone, even myself, for a while. But grief has a way of seeping through the cracks. No matter how many times you polish the surface, they called it high-functioning depression. I called it the art of disappearing while standing in plain sight. My name doesn't matter anymore. Names belong to the people you used to be. I was a wife, a mother, a caretaker. Always busy, always reliable. My house was spotless. My table always full. People used to say, "Evelyn, you're such a strong woman." I would nod and thank them like it was a compliment. But strong is just another word for lonely. They never ask what it costs to keep being strong. They never ask what happens when the strength runs out. After my husband died, I didn't break down like people expected. I didn't scream, didn't cry in public. It just stopped. Stopped singing, stopped laughing, stopped noticing the world outside my window. I moved through my days like an actress, reading lines from a script I didn't believe in anymore. Every morning, I'd get up, make coffee, sweep the floor, water the plants, do the laundry. Routine became my religion. The more I kept moving, the less I had to feel. I thought if I stayed busy enough, sadness wouldn't find me. But sadness has a key to every locked door. It doesn't knock. It just waits. At first, no one noticed. My children called, and I told them I was fine. Busy, I'd say. You know how it is. They believed me because it was easier. People want tidy grief. They want you to cry for a few months, heal, and then bake cookies for Christmas again. But grief isn't tidy. It's not a wound you can stitch. It's a slow rot that starts in the heart and spreads outward until it reaches your eyes, your hands, your bones. Mine settled quietly. Like dust in corners I'd stopped cleaning. I remember one afternoon vividly. I was washing dishes and I saw my reflection in the window, a woman with grey hair and tired eyes, going through the motions of a life she no longer recognized. I didn't feel sad exactly. I just felt gone, like someone had scooped me out and left the shell standing. That scared me more than any sadness ever could. Sadness means you still care. Emptiness means you've stopped. The doctor gave me pills. These will help balance things, he said. I took them because it seemed like the polite thing to do. They made me calm, too calm, like my emotions had been ironed flat. I didn't cry, I didn't laugh, I just existed, floating somewhere between here and nowhere. Sometimes I think depression doesn't take your happiness away, it just takes your contrast, the highs and the lows, until everything feels the same shade of grey. The house became both my sanctuary and my prison. I cleaned because it was the only thing I could control. The more perfect it looked, the less chaotic I felt inside. I scrubbed until my hands ached, rearranged furniture no one would see, folded laundry that wasn't dirty. I told myself I was just keeping busy, but I was really trying to disappear in plain sight, a ghost of good manners and clean counters. There were moments, small ones, when I almost felt alive again. When my granddaughter visited, for instance, she'd come running in with her drawings, waving them proudly. She'd talk about her friends and her school, her little world that still had wonder in it. I'd smile and say, "That's lovely, sweetheart." But what I really wanted to say was, hold on to that joy. Protect it with everything you have, because life will try to take it from you piece by piece until you wake up one day and realize you've traded laughter for survival. People think depression is sadness, but it's not. It's the absence of something color, sound, meaning it's living in a house full of lights and feeling like you're still in the dark. It's answering the question, how are you? With fine, because the truth would take too long to explain. It's lying awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, not crying, not thinking, just existing in a kind of dull hum. My daughter says I should have talked to someone sooner. Maybe she's right, but I didn't know how. I was raised in a generation that didn't talk about feelings. We worked through them. We cooked, we cleaned, we prayed. We believed that if you kept everything in order, the sadness would tidy itself up too. It never did. It just hid behind closed doors, waiting for the quiet to come back. When I finally told my doctor that I was tired, not the kind of tired sleep could fix, he looked at me with such pity, it almost made me angry. He said, "You've been strong for too long." And that broke something in me, because I realized I had no idea how to be anything else. Strong had become my entire identity. And when strength stops working, who are you? Now, I'm learning softness again. Slowly. I don't clean as much. I let dishes sit in the sink. I leave the bed unmade sometimes. It feels strange, like rebellion, but also like relief. I go outside and sit in the garden, even when it's too cold, just to feel the air on my skin. I've started painting again badly, but honestly, my hands shake, but I don't mind. The colors smear, the lines blur. It's messy, it's imperfect, it's real. For the first time in years, I'm not trying to fix anything. I'm just trying to feel. The nurses at the clinic where I go for therapy call me Sunshine because I always smile when I come in. I think it's because they can see I'm trying not to be happy, but to be present. There's a difference. Happiness is fleeting. Presence is a choice. I can't always control the darkness, but I can light one candle and let it burn long enough to remind me I'm still here. If you're listening to this and you're tired of pretending, stop. The world doesn't need another perfect person. It needs real ones. Let the house be messy. Let the tears come. Let the mask slip. I promise, nothing terrible happens when you do. The people who love you won't run away, and the ones who do, they were never really seeing you anyway. Depression isn't weakness. It's the body saying, you can't carry this alone anymore. It's your soul's way of asking to be seen. Don't ignore it. Don't polish it into silence like I did. Ask for help. Cry for no reason. Tell someone you're not okay. The moment you do, the darkness loses a little of its power. I don't know if I'll ever feel whole again. Maybe that's not the point. Maybe life isn't about being whole. Maybe it's about noticing the cracks and letting the light through them. These days, when I sit in my kitchen with a cup of tea, I don't feel happy, but I feel alive. And after all these years of pretending, that's enough. So if you're listening, and your smile has become a habit instead of a feeling it's okay to let it fall. The world won't end if you stop performing. It might even start because behind the mask, behind the chores, behind the word fine, there's a heart waiting to be heard. Listen to it. Before the silence does.